Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Shaping out to be filled with lots of sunshine, but we're seeing cooler temperatures on the horizon, so definitely keep it here. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up in just a bit.
This is an economy built on building from the middle out and the bottom up. The middle class built America, and unions built the middle class.
All right, coming up this Saturday morning from Washington, D.C. to Washington County, Maryland gets a presidential visit. What brought the commander-in-chief outside of the Beltway? Plus, left without a home, nearly a dozen people impacted by an overnight fire in the district. We are on the scene with late details. Stay tuned for that. And an early lead. We are looking at polling numbers this morning in the Maryland governor's race just a month before the midterms. One of those candidates up on your screen is pulling ahead. It is 6:01 this Saturday morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us and a live look outside. It's not as cold as you think it would be this time of the year. Let's bring Brittany Ward in for a check on that forecast. Brittany, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. You know, that was a live look at Hagerstown Dual Highway. And I know you said it's not cold, but it will be getting cold as we head into our evening. So definitely be prepared for that. Your time now is 6:01, and we're taking a live look at radar. Not really much going on across the DMV area, but you are seeing that dark purple, and this dark purple is actually a frost warning that is in effect from the National Weather Service. This will be going in effect tonight at midnight, mainly for our western county. So portions of Garrett County, West Virginia, and even portions of Page County there in Virginia. And that's because we could see our lows dip down into the 30s. Yes, that's right. I said it. The 30s, whereas the rest of us, we are mainly staying dry and considerably cool. Temperatures right now still fairly cool out there, 50s to upper 40s across the board. So heading out the door, just make sure you have a light jacket on hand. When we take a look at our visibility, all of us are mostly clear out there when we are stepping out the door. So overall, nice start to our Saturday. It's our Saturday night that we got to make sure we have maybe that puffer jacket out as our lows begin to dip down into the 30s and the 40s. Now, we do have a warm up on the way, so definitely keep it here. We'll have a check of that forecast coming up, Joe, in just a bit.
All right, that is Brittany Ward from our Weather Center to get us up to speed this morning. Brittany, thank you. We are following some breaking news this hour. An overnight apartment fire has displaced 11 people in Southeast D.C. You're looking at video shot right from the scene from our contributor Larry Calhoun over at D.C. Real Time News. Officials confirmed just hours ago that everyone living in this building on Minnesota Avenue, everybody, lost their home, though thankfully there were no injuries or deaths. The fire is now under control, and Red Cross is assisting those who've been impacted by it. We'll keep you updated as we learn more on that. We are also following new details this morning. A suspect who was mistakenly released by the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office has been recaptured. Up on your screen is 25-year-old Stone Colburn, who was just found down in Georgia. He was originally in custody on murder charges. Those charges were dropped on Thursday, which is why the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office says they released him. But listen to this. Less than 24 hours after he was let go, the sheriff was looking for him again, this time on charges of concealing a body. So what happened? Well, prosecutors claim they filed these new charges on the same day they dropped the older ones, the old murder charges. But the sheriff's office says they only learned about the new charge after Colburn had already been let go. All right, we are covering Hagerstown this morning, where the Western Maryland city had a presidential visit yesterday. President Joe Biden delivering remarks about building the economy while touring Washington County's Volvo plant. Our Daniel Hamburg was at that trip. He has a recap of it, which comes just 1 month ahead of the midterm elections.
263,000 jobs were created just last month. President Biden boasted that 10 million jobs have been created since he took office, something he says is the fastest growth at any point in American history. Today's theme, Made in America.
The middle class built America, and unions built the middle class.
And 1,300 workers at Volvo's powertrain facility in Hagerstown are unionized.
This is actually where the radiator would sit, just like it would in a diesel engine.
President Joe Biden spent National Manufacturing Day here, recognizing all 1,700 workers employed.
I'm here at this Volvo plant to thank the workers and management for building heavy-duty engines, transmissions, axles for trucks and buses.
Biden's focus?
Made in America. America.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the work you're doing to make sure that we build more things in this country again. I love seeing Volvos and Macs when I go down the highway. I know its powertrain is built in this factory.
Biden talked about the recent infrastructure law to help cities like Hagerstown improve water safety and roadways, and focused on the low 3.5% unemployment rate.
We have to move from historically strong economic recovery to a more steady, stable recovery. We need to bring inflation down without giving up all the historic economic progress that working class and middle class people have made.
He called out Republicans who call the plan socialist, but are asking for help from the White House for projects in their districts.
If Republicans take control of the Congress, these historic victories we just won for the American people are going to be taken away. Every kitchen table cost is going to go up, not down. This is an economy built on building from the middle out and the bottom up, not from the top down.
Now, the local Washington County Republican Party issued a statement basically saying that Biden should be focused on more national emergencies, including immigration and record violence and crime, instead of visiting Hagerstown. In Hagerstown, Maryland, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, Django, thank you. Well, those who live in Hagerstown, as we just heard right there, and other parts of Washington County, they are reacting to the president's visit. And let's just say it was mixed. Some believe the visit was a sign that the president wants to bring jobs to the area. Others aren't quite on board with the Biden agenda.
Didn't vote for him. Not really approve of any of his programs.
I would tell him thank you for what you've done for the community and the country. I would definitely want to be a participant in anything he has to do.
Yeah, the president is in full campaign mode right now. We are just a month away from the midterm elections. He left Hagerstown. He flew to Philadelphia, then to his home state of Delaware. Speaking of midterms, DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and this morning we are checking in on where voters currently stand for the Maryland gubernatorial election. The race is between Democrat and political newcomer Wes Moore and Donald Trump-backed Republican Dan Cox. Well, according to a poll done by the Washington Post and the University of Maryland, Moore is heavily favored among registered Maryland voters with a 2-to-1 lead over Cox. Just to put that into perspective for you guys, 60% of voters say they would vote for Wes Moore right now. 60% compared to 28% who favor Cox. Nearly 90% of Democrats, the party most Marylanders identify as, said they would pick Moore, as well as 22% of Republicans. Independent voters were split, with each candidate gaining roughly 38% of the vote. Interesting. While nothing is set in stone, experts say this means Moore will likely take home the win in November. Of course, we'll be watching it every step of the way. We are learning that Democratic candidate for Maryland Governor Wes Moore has paid $21,000 to settle an outstanding water bill for his Baltimore home. Moore's campaign spokesperson says they are reviewing the charges, but that Moore paid the balance out of an abundance of caution. The spokesperson says Moore was unaware of the bill, and the city of Baltimore has had issues with its water billing system. All right, happening today, Women's March events across the country, including right here in Washington, D.C. As we approach midterms, organizers say they are marching for reproductive rights. Basil John is here with a preview of today's reports.
Organizers say this year's Women's March has special meaning.
Women voters are highly motivated, especially since the Dobbs decision in June.
The Dobbs decision overturned Roe v. Wade and ended women's constitutional right to abortion. March supporter Delia Coleman says that Supreme Court decision and new state anti-abortion laws are energizing women voters.
Every election year is important, but this one is really a matter of, I would conservatively say, life or death. This is it.
Republicans, like South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, are promising to outlaw most late-term abortions should they become the majority in Congress.
I think we should have a law at the federal level that would say after 15 weeks, no abortion on demand, except in cases of rape, incest, to save the life of the mother.
Participants in the weekend march plan to wear blue to signify what they hope will be a blue wave, electing Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections.
I think now is a time to show up.
More than 450 women's wave events are planned for this weekend across the country, and the one here is expected to be one of the largest. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Well, your time now, 6:10, and we are having a chilly start to our morning, waking up to mostly clear skies out there, but our temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s by that 7 o'clock hour. We do warm it up to the lower 50s as we head into that 8 and 9 o'clock hour, but plenty of sunshine will be stored for your day today. Temperatures for our highs today will struggle to get out of the 50s, some of us getting into the 60s, but we do have a warm up on the way.